So, today I just wanted to make a quick little video and talk about a handful of number ones. I feel like January and February are much lighter compared to December, where I was trying to catch up on like the end of the year stuff. And it seems that I already have March and April planned with like lots of new series that are starting. So, with this slow season, I was able to find a few that were pretty interesting, and I just wanted to share them with people. So let's get started. Alright, so the first book that I found is something called I Can Sell You a Body. Now, I really liked this one. It's only going to be 4 issues, so maybe wait for the volume on it. But I thought it was a lot of fun. And so it starts off with this magician. He hits a rough patch and gets in with the mob. He owes them a real big favor and is supposed to bring their old boss back from the dead. Something goes awry and something much darker comes back instead. Like I said, thought it was a lot of fun. The artwork for it is a little bit more cartoony. It is a little adult, even though the art looks a bit more animated, but not so mature that like teens couldn't read it. Number 2 on my list is Daphne Brine. Now, this is the latest from Hill House. It's an imprint that Joe Hill is doing between DC, and I liked this one, not as much as I liked some of the other series so far, but this one is much more different than the others. It feels a little bit more somber, it feels a little bit more serious, and it's a bit of a slower pace than some of the other books. It starts off with this daughter and mother trying to deal with the loss of their father-husband. The mother starts to see a psychic, and the psychic says it's time to move on. The daughter is getting kind of a sinister vibe from this person, and she's not completely wrong. There seems to be some sort of setup involving the psychic, this mother, and this stranger. Meanwhile, although the psychic can't reach the girl's actual father, she does manage to summon somebody else. And this ghost seems to have a crush on dear old Daphne Byrne. Whether he's friendly or not is a whole other question, and honestly, we haven't quite got there yet. It's on issue number 2. Like I said, it feels like a bit of a slower burn, a little bit more somber, but hopefully things are gonna pick up and get real wild real soon. Like, I can feel it, I can see it in the art, I can see it in like the ghost and this like creepy little grin he has when she's not looking at him directly. And honestly, the cover alone freaks me out, and I see this scary potential here, and I think they're gonna hit it soon. Honestly, I'm probably going to make a video for all of the Hill House comics eventually. For now, I'm going to say that the issues are really fun and you get a whole other story completely, but these might be something easier to find in volume as well. We'll touch up on that later though. So, until then, the next book we're going to talk about is Red Mother. Now, this team is also worked on something called The Beauty, which is really great artwork and story-wise. They're also working on something called The Realm, which I haven't picked up yet, but this is the latest. This story starts off with this couple leaving a date. They're walking through a park late at night when all of a sudden there's something from the shadows calling to them. The boyfriend goes into a trance, gets swooped up by something evil, and the girlfriend ends up losing her eye. Not only does she have to deal with the loss of her boyfriend, she now has to deal with the loss of a limb and having like phantom limb syndrome. She also starts having these like hallucinogenic episodes where everything will go red and all of a sudden this phantom starts to appear and starts to call out to her. They're on issue 3, and I actually really like this series. It's really mature, it's a little serious, but it's actually finally starting to pick up, and they're starting to incorporate a lot more like mystery and like history into the story finally. Like I said, a lot of it at first is her dealing with loss, adjusting to her new life, adjusting without her boyfriend being there, and then stuff starts to finally get spooky. At one point, number 1 of this book was going for a pretty high price. Not to say that it's not worth it, but if you just pick up the old $3.99 or wait for the trade to come out, I totally wouldn't blame you. Again, it is starting off to be a bit of a supernatural mystery. I know there seems to be a lot of those at the time being, but this one has more of a like CSI, more of a like crime TV show. Slow wheels churning and like finally like getting there. Like it's setting up for something really grand and I'm really excited to see where they go with this. Next up is Jessica Jones by Kelly Thompson. Kelly Thompson has too many to list that are too good, but this is her latest from Marvel, and yeah, she's tackling Jessica Jones. If you've watched any of the shows from Netflix, you can like literally just jump in. If you haven't, even then they give you just a small, quick little description up on the second page about everything you need to know in order to read this thing. Obviously she's a superhuman PI, and so it is another mystery book, but I really liked this one. I've never really read a Jessica Jones series before. I wanted somewhere easy to jump into. I wanted something familiar and something exciting, and honestly, it's all right here. I'm not too crazy on like Marvel superhero books, but this one had like nice enough art and again was interesting enough that I'm definitely gonna pick up number 2. Like the ending to number 1 was like, dang, alright, cool, I guess I have to do this now. You're making me do this now. And I'm hoping that it's not like a limited series. Sometimes when it's only one character, they'll only do like 5 or 6 or something. But if the series manages to stay as good as this first issue is, I'm hoping that they do a full run on it. And last but certainly not least, The Protector. This artist has worked on Extremity, they worked on Murder Falcon. I'm pretty sure they've won some sort of award by now, and it's a really pretty book. And honestly, the story was super interesting and ended where like, I already need number 2. I need to know how this world came to be, I need to know where these characters are going, and I need to see robots fight each other, and this is the book where to find it. So it is so far into the future that the world as we know it is like completely gone. All of civilization is back to being really primitive and like savage, except for a few hints of technology here and there. It seems that there are these like evil overlord robots that are kind of controlling the like tribes and fraction of the world, and the humans are like both terrified and worship them. This slave girl runs away from her masters and then accidentally comes across a robot who starts up and ends up protecting her. Now, the robot seems to know what the world was like before everyone went to being so hostile and like the downgrade, but the girl actually thinks that he's gonna be like the next robot messiah. I don't know how long the series is gonna be. I have already read number 2 of it, and honestly, I'm really excited to see where this series goes. I think there's going to be a big human versus robot war, and I'm really excited to see how the world ended to be as apocalyptic and messed up as it is in this book. So, I would highly recommend The Protector, and I think grabbing a number 1 of this series might not be such a bad idea, honestly. I think this one might have a potential to actually go somewhere, whether it's a volume 2, whether it's a show, or whatnot. Like, I really think that The Protector is going to be something special later. It's just my guess, so I don't know. Take my word for it, or don't. Honestly, I think the number 1 games is kind of silly, and I just try to pick up stuff that I like to read, and I figured if we were going to do any speculations, it might as well be on stories that are worth it. So, that's my pick For January, again, it was just a handful. I've already got a stack for February that is like double this stuff, and then looking at my list for March, it's even more so. So, I'm gonna try to keep up with these monthly videos, and in the meantime, probably just keep reading, let's be honest.